Finally tonight, the second in our two-part look at how cutting-edge imagery is helping scientists to preserve centuries-old shipwrecks. Last night, we took you to Bermuda, where more than 300 ships have wrecked over the last 400 years. Tonight, Jeffrey Brown travels to San Diego as part of his ongoing series, Culture at Risk.
So welcome to one of our walk-in virtual reality environments.
It's meant to transport you across space and time.
It's the world's highest resolution virtual reality environment. It's running at 500 megapixels, half a gigapixels worth of resolution.
Called the Sun Cave, it's an immersive sci-fi-like wonder, hard to fully convey on television, driven by the latest advances in computer visualization and 3D imaging.
So it really gives us a mechanism to deliver visually very compelling representations of that environment.
It's all part of a project overseen by Falco Kuster, a German-born professor of structural engineering at the University of California, San Diego. One that puts high tech to work on behalf of cultural preservation.
Virtual reality is a very powerful mechanism that allows us to explore spaces, environments at scale, but on our own terms. And then it became somewhat natural to think about how can we actually create a future for the past.
A future for the past.
Yes. Can we make sure that world heritage gets preserved?
All around the lab, the tools of the trade, specially designed drones and cameras, computer visualization programs, 3D printers, and the recreations made from them. It's an effort that involves scientists, engineers, archaeologists, and art historians, documenting and analyzing historic sites, artifacts, and art around the globe.
So what we have here is a quarter-scale replica of Leonardo da Vinci's Adoration of the Magi. And our research team had the opportunity to actually work very closely, intimately, with this painting.
After scanning the original, Kuster's team created a digital Da Vinci, allowing a whole new way to interact with the painting.
We can actually digitally rejuvenate this painting and come up with a version that is possibly and quite likely a very good approximation of what it originally looked like. And there's these amazing stories which suddenly unfold, which make it exciting. Now you can become the explorer and tell me what's really happening on that staircase, right? Can we peel away the pigment, which particularly if you're thinking about restoring a painting, right? So what was it meant to be? What do we see today? Because it clearly has aged, right?
The San Diego team has also visited and begun to digitally document sites as diverse as Mayan caves in Guatemala and the baptistry of San Giovanni and adjacent Duomo Cathedral in Florence, highlighting areas of aging and deterioration. But last March, they decided to go deeper, much deeper, and launched an ambitious project to virtually catalog 100 underwater shipwrecks in Bermuda, an island that has a history of wrecks dating back more than 4 centuries.
What Bermuda has given us is the ability to become explorers under the water.
Because everyone's interested in a shipwreck.
Right. And the shipwrecks that we see today, well, many of them have their own connection to adventure, right? Exploration. That area is truly a treasure trove of wrecks.
Kuster teamed up with marine scientist Philippe Rouja, Bermuda's custodian of historic shipwrecks, who's been diving and documenting these underwater sites for years.
It's not just the tragedy. I think it's the investment, you know, what a ship is and what it actually represents, and the loss of that, and then the sort of romance of it sort of sitting on the bottom and being this time capsule. You know, the other romantic part of it is you imagine that they've all been found, and then, oh wait, there's another one.
The project, called the Bermuda 100, is currently re-examining a pair of the island's most famous shipwrecks, the Montana and Mary Celestia, 2 Confederate blockade runners sunk in 1863 and 64.
Blockade runners have this sort of mystique about them because they are this tool that was essentially used to run, you know, goods into the Confederate South during the Civil War, during the U.S. Civil War.
Over the last year, Rouja has sent Kuster hundreds of thousands of still images and videos shot underwater, capturing these wrecks from every conceivable angle.
Suddenly, we're diving on wrecks we've dove on for 30 years, and it's like you're diving it for the first time. Oh, wow, I really want to capture that. Oh, did you see the door? Yeah, let's get a close-up of that part.
Back in San Diego, the team uses the data to digitally recreate the ships.
What is left? what is its state of health, how is it decaying, what other artifacts are there. And now we can tell the story about the shipwreck.
Kuster is also keeping track of every artifact Ruja finds.
So here we see actually a Masonic jar that was found on one of the shipwrecks. And interestingly enough, these were truly priceless artifacts. They were as valuable filled as they were empty, and they were actually being shipped back and forth to be refilled.
The group built three-dimensional models and videos that allow researchers and amateurs alike to visit the sites from their own computers and mobile devices. No wetsuit required.
We take all these tiny little views into the big world surrounding us and build a big picture, a big model. So we actually have seen many of the sites in ways nobody else ever has.
The model shows the Mary Celestia at rest on a flat, sandy seabed, just 600 yards off Bermuda's south coast. At the Montana, it becomes clear how wrecks become part of the marine habitat, allowing scientists more comprehensive data on the current health of Bermuda's coral reefs and fish populations.
So you're actually capturing data that people didn't even know they were collecting. And so you can start to learn things about sea level rise, about coastal change. All these things suddenly come into play in ways that I never imagined.
So we literally just teleported ourselves to Bermuda.
That's the hope with the Bermuda Project, to explore and preserve in new ways going forward. And Kuster and his team are thinking far beyond these waters, hoping to replicate this work in ever greater scale. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown from Bermuda and San Diego.